bring in Republican Tennessee Congressman and House Armed Services Committee member Mark Green. Every time I hear this story, Congressman, the numbers always astound me, but even more astounding is we're not appearing to do anything about it.
Yeah, Ashley, thanks for having me on the show. He's ignoring the court orders. He's actually ignoring court orders which have said he must reinstate the Remain in Mexico. And that refusal, his refusal to enforce those laws, his refusal to deport people who should be deported, are the result that young woman on the train in Philadelphia was raped. That individual was supposed to be deported. He changed the directions given to ICE. The individual wasn't deported, and a young American woman was raped. That's the responsibility of President Joe Biden.
Yeah, and yet the Secretary of Homeland Security, Mayorkas, continues to assert that the border is secure, which to me, I just don't know how you can say that with a straight face.
It's insanity. I mean, you look at the fentanyl that we've already, it's a 700% increase, a 700% increase, and that means dead Americans to overdose. And they don't care. I mean, they basically are trying to Jedi mind trick the American people, and we're waking up. America is waking up. Look at his approval ratings. I think it's down to 37%. Unprecedented, but that's why, I mean, it's because of the border, and it's because of Afghanistan that this president is, his approval ratings are so bad.
Well, it appears no matter how many times we tell this story, the administration is not taking action. What you say that they're flaunting the court's order on Remain in Mexico, which to me is the most basic of laws. You don't get to come in the country. You don't get to slip off into the United States and not show up for your court hearing. You have to remain in Mexico. What is the biggest danger? You talked about the story, the horrible story of a woman raped in Philadelphia. But what else should we fear from this?
Well, I think, I mentioned the fentanyl, but it's also the criminals that are coming across, MS-13, all of these gang members. That's a huge threat to the security and safety of Americans. That's the oath the president takes, is to protect the people of America. He's not doing so. And really, the only reason they know that the fentanyl is killing Americans, they know MS-13 crime is coming to the United States, they know that the illegal immigrants are going to take jobs away from Americans. They don't care because they also know they'll come here, they'll have babies that will be American citizens, and they'll vote Democrat. And the point made by Mayorkas about the Cubans back in July when they were rioting in the streets, he said not a single Cuban will come to America. The reason he doesn't want that to happen, they vote Republican. This is about empowering the Democrat Party. That's why our southern border is wide open.
Just to change subjects a little bit, Congressman, I want to talk about the spending plan and the back and forth within the Democrat Party. But what has not changed, I don't think, is a viable explanation as to how they're going to pay for this. I don't know whether it's $1.5 trillion, $2 trillion, whatever it is. There still appears to be no real sense of how it's going to be paid for unless you're looking at some serious tax hikes.
That's exactly right. They're talking about increasing the capital gains rate. They're talking about increasing, corporate taxes, all of which are going to decelerate our economy in the midst of inflation, which will bring about stagflation, that situation back when Jimmy Carter was president. This is the kind of president we've got right now. He doesn't understand supply chains. These vaccine mandates are impacting the transportation industry. They're going to continue to worsen it as people call in sick and make their protests to their businesses. I mean, every single thing Joe Biden is doing is destroying America, whether it's the economy, our protection at the southern border, or our military, or our relations with foreign countries, withdrawing from Afghanistan and that debacle. Every single thing this guy's doing is destroying our country.
And that is being reflected, I think, in the latest polls and in that gubernatorial race in Virginia. This could have serious consequences for 2022, and it seems like the administration or Mr. Biden himself is kind of unable to take the pulse of the country.
Absolutely. Their policies are designed to change, you basically concentrate power in Washington, D.C., which is not what our founders, it's not what Americans want. And they're seeing these policies concentrating power in Washington, and they want nothing of it. And I think you'll see in 2022 a massive win for Republicans, and we will retake control of the House, and then we can put a halt to some of this socialist agenda that's coming out of the White House.
All right. By the way, I should mention you have done something that's very rare in this country, Congressman. You managed to get an income tax thrown out in Tennessee, because once a government imposes an income tax, it's there for good. So I don't know how you managed it, but bravo, sir.
It took 4 years, and we finally got it done. Only 2 states in the nation's history have ever repealed any form of an income tax, and we did it in Tennessee with the help of a lot of my colleagues.
Well, congratulations on that, and thanks for talking us to today, Congressman Mark Green from Tennessee. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.